Good morning. Good morning. The Positive Side Podcast. Today is March. What day is today? 19th. Man, this day is, or this month and this year is flying by. If you haven't listened to the podcast before, I appreciate you tuning in. Much love to you. Check out the YouTube channel. Subscribe over there. I got a goal of 1,000. See it on my vision board back there if you're watching it. 1,000 subscribers on that YouTube channel. Then obviously, if you're listening to iTunes, much love there. Leave those 5-star reviews. That allows other people to find the podcast. The reason I mentioned that is because today's episode is very, very special. Now, I've been doing this podcast for 4 years, just over 4 years. I think March 1st was the 4-year anniversary, over 500 episodes. And, some of the guests I've had on here have blown me away. And some of the, just the actual podcast itself has blown me away. But what really blows me away is some of the messages that I receive. Now, I get all asked, well, why do you do the podcast? How much money do you make from it? None of that matters. None of that matters. This specific reason is why I do the podcast. I get these messages from on my website. Run over to jeremytodd.com. You can always message me or email me, jeremy@jeremytodd.com. But this one's very, very special. I'm not going to give out this young lady's name, but it literally, it makes you take a step back and actually realize how important life is and how fortunate, and the gratitude comes pouring in. But listen to this email. I appreciate this podcast. Just started listening to it less than a week ago, and it's just what I needed to help me reach for a dream. The past 2 years have been very challenging. I was assaulted, and it threw my normally upbeat energy off. This was the final straw. It pushed me to attempt suicide. I mean, man, it's horrible. Like just to mentally think what this young lady's going through. Thankfully, I survived and allowed myself to get the help I needed. Absolutely. And that's one of the beautiful things about this as well, that you survived, number one, but it made you realize to get that help. And that's so important for so many people out there that are struggling. But let's get back into it. I nearly gave it up. I nearly gave up on life. It's been a very long journey, but I'm finally seeing through the fog. Your podcast has tugged at me. Today, I reached out to volunteer with children at a women and children's shelter. I've been through my mother getting brutally stabbed multiple times when she was 8 months pregnant with me. Death of my mother 5 years later, molestation, a physically abusive marriage of 16 years, and the assault and suicide attempt. It's been a very rough life. But hearing some of your podcasts and guests, it just gave me the strength to see through my own pain and look at what I wanted in my life. What I wanted in my life now that I'm on a better spot, What have I always dreamt of? I've always dreamt of helping someone else get through their pain. The positive messages really helped me to take action on my thoughts and goals. Thank you so much for giving me the push. Man, I mean, when you get emails like that, several things go through my mind. First thing is, again, the attitude of gratitude and how fortunate, no matter how bad, no matter what's struggling on in my life, no matter what happens at my work or my job. I mean, who cares? Who gives a shit about any of that stuff? When you have people like this that have actually really, truly struggled and been through horrific events in their life, yet they still see the positive side of life in wanting to give back. I think to myself how petty some of the arguments and how many of the arguments that we get in within each other, that we don't share our actual emotions and our thoughts and our feelings, and we're not upfront about it. We don't talk deeply enough about it. We hide behind some of our own shames and our own fears about what will someone else think about, what will someone else say about me, or is my idea silly, or whatever the case is in these conversations. Yet we have people like this that have been through real struggle and understand that the best thing that you could do in life is to give back. When you're struggling, you give back. When you're in extreme depression, you help other people. This is what this show and this is what life is all about. It's about looking at the positive side of life, health, business, family, motivation. You've heard it a million times, but when you get messages like this, it makes you take a step back to really analyze not only your life, if you're listening to this or watching this, but, obviously my life. Selfishly, this is a podcast that's changed my life, to have these open conversations about what I think and what I feel. This is real. This show is real. These stories are real, and it's happening all around, no matter where you are in the world. These stories happen every single day, but even me, from my selfish little world, that I stay in my own little bubble, and then I get in a bad mood and woe is me, and I had a bad day at work, or I got in an argument with somebody. I mean, that's not reality. That's this bullshit reality that we've created because this is what's in front of us. It's what makes us feel comfortable with our own lives. Yet when you hear these stories, you understand that life can be way more difficult. And what it tells me is to, quit holding these grudges, quit getting in arguments, be open-minded, be more transparent, be more authentic, have these deeper relationships and have these deeper conversations because I want more. And I get it. I get selfish sometimes because I want to learn so much about certain people and learn about their lives. And sometimes maybe I need to slow down. I don't know, but it's just very, very important to me how short life can be and how important relationships are to me and how much I can learn and how much I can love and how much I can become a better person. Today on March 19th, I would just encourage you to take that 5,000 foot view of your own life. Look down and have that attitude of gratitude. Maybe you don't have a car. Maybe you just lost your job. Maybe you're overweight. Maybe you're struggling with something. I get it. And boy, life can be extremely difficult sometimes, but just for today, this morning, or whenever you're going to listen to this podcast, have a different perspective on your life. Be grateful. Have that attitude of gratitude and think like the listener that sent me that message, how much tougher life could be. It just puts things in perspective. And I've got much love for her. She's been on my thoughts and my prayers and, whatever. I can't get this person out of my mind. And it's just such a reminder to me that I need to slow down, appreciate life, appreciate the relationships, appreciate the conversations, but also at the same time, check the ego at the door, be more authentic, be more vulnerable, be more realistic, just be an all around better person. The Positive Side Podcast. Yeah, I mean, that was a big one. I've got a couple interviews coming up. Can't wait for those. I got the next Wednesday is going to be huge as well. I've got my good friend Stephanie Weeks coming on the show. Can't wait to get her episode out. You talk about powerful. But again, I more than anything, I appreciate you listening. Share these messages, share the podcast, tell your friends to subscribe. You subscribe to the YouTube channel. Again, the more people can find this message, the better world we're going to live in. If you haven't read the book yet, go to Amazon, go to jeremytodd.com. You can buy the Positive Side book. Talks a little bit about the struggles that I've been through in my life. But again, here we are together. We're all on the same page. We're all going to have an amazing, positive day, positive week, positive life, because we're going to have that attitude of gratitude. I said every single episode, you've got greatness within. Like always, this is the Positive Side.